Let's have a serious discussion here about Wuthering Waves. Wuthering Waves is actually a new game that just got released. It's going to be a week old on the 29th, technically, at like 6 p.m. In Central Standard Time. And I got about 50 hours in, and I love it. I have a lot to say that I'm going to talk right now. But first things first, let's actually talk about the world. As you're exploring the world, you're going to see that there's a lot of like areas, a lot of monsters, a lot of things to kill, and you have a lot of just areas and puzzles and just, oh my god, there's just so much to explore. It's actually a fun game to explore in. Most games just are not fun to explore in. Like, you're either slow, or like you have clunky climbing mechanics like Tower of Fantasy, or like as you're sprinting you waste stamina like in Genshin. Same with climbing. In this one, you could run up a wall. It does cost stamina, but when you're just running normally, it's fine. There's no issues. And then that gets me to like movement. The movement in this game is very fluid. There are issues where you'll get stuck and you'll be running up a wall and like, wait, I'm running nowhere. But there's actually tricks that you can learn to actually get out of those situations. And that is like, you could hold down, press jump, and then use your grapple to climb out faster. Like, it's just get up a spot that you can't get around. Like, there's movement text that you can do that I'm still learning and I'm excited to learn. And then like the exploration of everything that you can do, the hunting of echoes, the bosses, the unlocking of zones, the puzzles, like just everything. Like, there's just so much to do. But now, like, I brought up echoes. Echoes, after you just dismantle a monster or kill them, they might drop their echo. And their echo, you can capture it like how you would with like a Pokeball, but you got your gourd, and you collect the echo and you can equip it. And there's multiple status effects for them. It's really cool. And that's unlimited. Actually, no. Someone told me you got 250 echoes you could collect in one day. But you gotta think about that. Takes a while because you don't get an echo on every drop. But still, that's interesting. With the combat is so fluid. It's like butter. Like, you could cancel tech. So let's say you're using Encore. And you got Encore on the field. You start doing her charge attack. You could transfer to your next, you could do the intro to your next character. While they're coming out, she's still doing her bomb attack. And it's so cool that you got tech that you could do like that. You could cancel almost anything into a dodge. If you do a perfect dodge, you could do a counter, a perfect dodge counter, and it does massive damage. Or it's a bonus damage for certain things, but it's massive damage for the elite mobs or higher level mobs than you. It's very interesting. I don't know how they did the math, but that's interesting. But that's just combat is just really smooth. And like the bosses, all the boss fights are unique in their own regard. Some are a little buggy still, but that's, the game just came out. I'm not gonna hate it. I mean, there was one point where I teleported across the map and I was like so confused on how I ended up on top of this ledge. But I mean, it happens. It is what it is. And I have no complaints over the combat. There's parry system. It's just so good. Let's talk about the music. Now, the music, I've heard around with a couple other people's comments. It's not that memorable, which I do agree. But if I don't feel like I'm in a zone and the music doesn't fit, everything fits, but nothing grabs me. Like, nothing where it's like, oh man, I want to remember that. Like, for example, Honkai Star Rail and Wildfire. That's still such a good song. It's hard to beat that, but the music itself fits, and that's even harder to do. It's harder to have like a whole track, or I mean like a whole game, have every single track that fits the environment. So with my opinion, I know they're going to expand upon the music and make it better, because it's already fits They just need to get the hits out there, like the hit songs where it's like, well, this one's gonna be peak. Now, this is where I'm gonna talk and shit on the game a little bit, just a little bit. I am a person who loves story, loves voice acted stories. I only am going to listen to the game in English. I am not going to switch it, which people are like, just switch it, their voice is better. Yeah, their voice might be better, but when in my head they're like, in my head I'm like, what? And I have to read it. The reading and watching does not work for me. I don't know why. It's always been a problem since I've been a kid, so I can't do that. So I'm gonna just give my opinion about the English voice actors and who they had voice acting them. I think was fine, but the director was horrible because some of them, like Scar, he had like emotion. Gian had emotion. Alto had emotion. Was it the best? It could get better, but Yang Yang, I just wanted to throw off a cliff. Oh my god, that woman drove me nuts. Like the final straw, even Rover, but before I get that, Yang Yang, oh my god, the final straw is when she was like, teleport.
To involve teleportation and the manipulation of space.
Teleportation. You said teleportation. I just want to throw off our cliff. And I know it's not the actual voice actors themselves, it was how they were directed, because they're actually really good in other roles, but that's how they're directed, that's what they're told to do, so that's what's going to happen. I think that's honestly everything I really wanted to say about this, because I like the game. So the world, great. Movement, great. Exploration, fun. Ecosystem, perfect. You don't have to waste your stamina to farm for gear. You're limited to 250, it sounds like. I gotta confirm that, but I had a buddy tell me. He was like, your limit has been reached for today at 250. He's like, what the fuck? But hey, maybe false misinformation, but you know what? I trust this guy. Then the combat, so smooth. It's the best combat game I played in a long time. I've been longing for this kind of combat. Like Final Fantasy VII Remake, but MMO. I actually would love that kind of combat in the MMO, but this is just as good for an action RPG. The music, pretty good. Story, oh, the actual story itself. God, the beginning was so slow, right? So slow. Then it picked up, dropped off a little bit after Scar, and then Act 6 was peak. Like it actually really was done well. Just the voice acting itself, I could not get past that at some points, but I understood, hey, look, this is going on, this is a lore dump, because it has to be a lore dump because it's the beginning of a story. It's just how they work. But I don't know, those are my thoughts. If you don't like them, tell me, I'll respond, maybe. With that being said, like, comment, and subscribe. Check me out on Twitch. Where is it at? Twitch.tv/FinalHarps. Peace.